the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry, and I'm here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen somewhere, you'll see a chat box. In that chat box, you can enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answer, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Well, guys, if you've been following the content, you know that renovation time is upon us. I've been doing some work. Well, not me. I've had like a vendor doing some work on the front lawn, and the long short of it is now the front lawn is now fully converted to Zeon now. So it got to root in, it's got to grow in, it's got to earn its place in the world. But we are moving in the right direction as far as that goes. So I got some content I'll share with you guys, some pictures, a little bit of video and stuff. But yeah, it should be a good time. As always, we're coming to you live on YouTube as our primary platform, but you can also watch the show on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We got all the platforms working tonight, which is kind of cool. So feel free to make use of that. If you are on Instagram, you may only be able to get the first hour of the show, and then at which point you'll have to come over to one of the other platforms to get everything. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get right into it. We got some questions here, comments. We got David Bloomfield kicking us off. He says, Ron, I appreciate you always getting back to me. Your Xeon is down, I see, and it's exciting. Works, I'm excited too. LOL, I sent you a couple pictures of my lawn, and I'm happy with it. Hit the like. Now, David, I'm trying to find pictures from you. I got like pictures you sent like on the 20, like last month on the 29th, but I don't have anything new from you. So I'm not sure if that maybe a size or something didn't make it through, but I don't have anything, definitely not today. At least nothing today has come through into my email. So if you sent them, maybe make them smaller and then send them my way, and I will do my best to get them on the show. All right. All right, next up is Gerald Jennings. Says, Ron, I love the update on the Zoysia installation. However, I think you and Alice could have managed without Supersod. Yeah, no, it's a lot of work, dude. I mean, it's a lot more work than you think. Supersod supplied the as far as the sod and the compost. But as far as removing it, it's a lot more work. So I killed off the lawn. I went, like, you guys know, maybe it's been 2 weeks now at this point. I sprayed glyphosate and fusilade on the Bermuda. That knocked it out. But then, I mean, they were thinking, well, this is a relatively small area. We should be able to get it knocked out in a day. We'll be able to, till it all out and then get the Zoysia in. It's all in the same day. And no, because the root system of the Bermuda grass was a lot more extensive. The grass was rooted a lot deeper than they thought it was going to be. So it took them the better part of the day to get all the Bermuda grass out. I can actually show you how they went about doing that. It was not a simple process. They brought some heavy equipment in. You can see this is the machine they used. This is after the Bermuda's already been killed off again with glyphosate and fusilade, and this is them literally trying to cut the root system out, like trying to till the existing Bermuda out, just to get as much of the root out as possible. So then you end up with this big mess on the lawn, and then they come back through with like rakes and whatever to get it all out. So it looks easy, but it's a lot more work than you think. It's not something. I'm not saying it's impossible to do it yourself. It's not impossible to do it yourself, but it's just a lot more work that I want to do, and it would not have come out. It would not have come out as nice as it did, as far as letting the pros handle it. Another thing to keep in mind too is that because they use that piece of equipment that removed a lot of the sod obviously on top, but also got a lot of the root system out. As far as how many applications I'm gonna have to go back with later on with recognition and fusilade to control any Bermuda grass breakthrough, that's going to be a lot more reduced. So the more, like anything else in life, right? The more time and effort you put into preparing properly, doing all the prep work, getting everything cleaned up as much as possible, you save yourself a lot of time on the back end. And again, this is all they do is install sod. So again, overall, just pretty happy with the result. Again, you can see the equipment they brought in. It was no joke, no small amount of joke. And the amount of material, if you guys have been watching, if you really want to see the blow by blow, you have to subscribe to the channel, go check out our YouTube Shorts feed, because that has like, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 videos, maybe more than that by now, that shows like where the lawn was, where, pretty much yesterday, probably at least 4 or 5 videos showing the status of the system as it progressed along. So as I was being pulled out, Then they delivered, the materials. So you had two bags of the compost, and then it took three pallets, three and change to do that area, to do the full side area of the lawn and the vanity strip. And again, it went in really nicely. Really, really happy with it. It's way more work though than it looks like. They just make it look easy because they do it all the time. All right. Next up is Michael Coulthard. He says, looking forward to the chat. No clouds, put down PGR, and sudden downpour. Seems to be raining every day now. Yeah, man. So here's the thing. I got the sod was installed. They rolled it. Actually, I can show you guys that. You probably want to see that as well too. So once they were done installing it, this is the equipment rolling the sod. I've been improving the contact between the sod and the underlying dirt. So the process is here's the Bermuda grass, and then spread the two layers of super sods compost over that entire area and just work it into the existing soil profile, lay the sod down, water it, which you can see the driveway's kind of wet there from watering it, and then go through and roll it all in to really improve that contact, the sod's contact with the soil. It's gonna have it rooting a lot faster. Remember last year when I did this, I was the first part of April, which is a bit early in the season. Most of the time they don't really like to do that. Like I actually had to convince them to let me do it earlier in the season because they really prefer to sod zoysia in really late April is the earliest. Really, they prefer like mid-May, just because it just as far as what they're able to harvest out of the farm is a lot more mature. Just the way it looks, in general, when it gets to the property, it just looks a lot better. So in general, they like to wait. So the benefit of doing it now in August is that it's hot as all get out. So as far as the sod rooting in, it's gonna be even faster than the front lawn did last year. It's been watered a couple times already. In addition to that, it got that good stuff put out on it. Let me share that with you here. So post installation today, I put out a bag of carbonized PNG, some 14714, and then fungicide Headway G because of all the watering that's going to be happening. The last thing you want is disease in zoysia. So that's the stack. That's what I did last year on the front lawn. Worked out great. And then literally, I did my rain dance. Literally, I applied a bunch of those products to the lawn, and look at what happened shortly afterwards. I was done. I'm transferring the video from my phone to my computer real quick. There we go. So I can share that with you guys now. And I'm not taking my own advice. It's going to be like straight up. It's going to be a vertical video because it was really filmed for the shorts. But you guys can check it out. Rain, we'll call it rain after installation, after install. All right. So after got out the carbonized PNG, the 4714,
how about that timing,
and,
boys?
The Headway G, you can see tons of rain.
Got the products out, got my carbonized PNG out, 4714.
Filmed it one format. I didn't feel like
and that Headway G.
Afterwards, but you can
new
see,
zoysia is in.
That's awesome.
Getting watered in. Look at all that.
New sod. Nothing beats water.
Goodness.
So given how hot it is, it was like in the 90s
Pretty
today.
awesome.
Just
gonna be good.
Rainfall towards the end of the day is a good thing. So again, really happy with it. Can't wait to see how it turns out. I imagine today's Friday. Probably next weekend I'll put the greens master on it. Like give it a nice back lap. Make sure it's razor sharp, and then I will I'll cut it. The greens master right now is set to 0.70 inches, which is a good height. I think that's good, right? Right, just below 0.75, so 0.70. So I will we'll put that on it next weekend, depending on how it's looking, and yeah, get this lawn on its way. There'll be no top dressing this year. I mean, we're already into mid-August, so there's no way of that really happening. I mean, if you went super crazy light, maybe, but I mean, I'm just gonna wait till next year to do it. I mean, just mow it and get it looking pretty nice as it's gonna look for given how late in the season it was done. But I mean, it's in. We'll be able to mow it, and we'll be able to enjoy it here soon. And as always, you guys will get regular updates as far as how it progresses. All right. Next up, we have Jose Castillo. He says, "Good evening, Ron and lawn care people. I've applied a Celiprin after mining rocks and put down better dirt and compost, waiting to put down spectacle flow soon." Sounds like a plan, sir. It's a time of year for your insecticide, so good. I like it. and then a spectacle. Yeah, towards the end of August, early September is when you'll get your first pre-emergent app out. So you sound like you are well on your way. Well on your way. All right. CB1 says, "Hey Ron, I'm looking to replace my Bermuda in a heavily shaded area, so like 4 hours of sunlight. Trying to choose between Zoro and Zeon Zoysia. Any thoughts as to which Zoysia is the best? It depends on what what appearance you want. Like Xeon, the blade's going to be a bit finer than Zoro. Zoro's it's a nice looking grass, but I find the blade to be it's a bit thicker than Xeon. 4 hours of when you say 4 hours of sunlight, you talking about 4 hours of like direct sunlight, or like 4 hours through trees or whatever. 'Cause I mean, 4 hours is on the low side, even for Zoysia. So if you're going to, but if you got Bermuda growing back there and it's growing at all, then Zoysia should be okay, because Bermuda in 4 hours of sunlight definitely not going to look good. So just go into it realizing that it may not. It's probably gonna be better than Bermuda, but it may not thrive as much as you're thinking. Again, due to the amount of shade. You said heavy shade. I'm thinking 4 hours of daylight. 4 hours of sunlight is like almost like the amount of light you have. If you ever see like how townhouses sometimes are built, and they'll be like built kind of close to each other, where there'll be like maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 feet in between the townhouses, and like that corridor in between from the front lawn to the back lawn, that pretty much when the sun just passes over, like that amount of sunlight. Like I've never seen grass in those corridors really do well or look well. So it really depends on how much direct sunlight you're really getting in this area. I mean, so again, Xeon or Zoysia is going to do better. Xeon is what I would personally do, but it's really up to you. Either one of those, Zero or Xeon, will both look nice. It really, I would go look at both and decide based on which leaf texture looks better to you. Which one do you like better? Again, I think Xeon is nicer. It's a finer blade. All right. Next up is Ninos Yokana. He says, "Hey, at Ron Henry and everyone. I've been traveling, missed a few shows. I'm back with my big like. I appreciate that, sir. Posted a few pictures on school, updated to Kentucky Bluegrass after almost 1 year. Will top dress and level this fall again." So you posted to the school group. Let me see what you did. Let me look in here. You say you did. All right. Oh, cool. 1 year update. Oh man, that looks good. That looks real good. That looks real good. Let me download it. I'll show some of the folks what you're working with here. So school is the school group is part of our the academy. So if you look on the Golf Course Lawn Store, we have a group that gets you a couple things. It gets you the course and also access to the Lawn Legends school group. And Ninos is in that group, and he's just sharing pictures with some of the folks that are in there. All kinds of folks talking about different types of problems and challenges, and a lot of collaboration happens in there. But I'll give you guys a little taste. He shared some pictures here and there, and I don't think he'll mind if I show everybody how his lawn is coming. It looks good, dude. How his lawn is coming together. All right, so these are Ninos's Kentucky Bluegrass lawn, looking quite nice. Quite nice if I do say so myself. Stripe action is on point, looking good, man. So what is it? You have like a little mini beach, in the middle of the lawn. Is that what we're doing right there? So you got a little beach going on, but yeah, the grass looks great, man. Color looks awesome. And you said your plan is a top dress this fall. Yeah, man. I mean, I could see that. I mean, it looks good. I can see how it would benefit from like maybe one more top dress. You know what I mean? It likely won't take as much material as you used last time, but it looks good, man. I'm telling you, even give this time of year, that color and stripes looks great. So I mean, a light top dress this fall, I think you'll be sitting really nice. So thanks for showing the pictures in the group, and some of the folks got to see how your lawn looks. It's kind of cool. All right, next up is Hoffenkamp. He says, "Happy Friday, Lawn Fam. I hope you are all well. I am a giant doofus this week." Okay. But maybe it can help y'all. For August 1st, PGR app. Oh, Lord, here we go. It's the end of my Primo Max bottle. I came up 0.3 ounces, and my lawn gets 0.35. Okay, I mean, it's close. It's close, probably close enough to be all right. So I rinse, I rinse the bottle with a little bit of water and toss it in the sprayer. A couple days later, lawn is burnt. A cup. Apparently, there is 0.75 stuck to the sides. Be careful, y'all. Yeah, you got to be careful with that, man. Because I mean, a lot of some of the residues on the sides will be. I mean, it's definitely more than 0.05 of an ounce, for sure. Yeah, yes. If you're at 0.3, rinsing out the bottle and getting all the residue out and pouring that in, yeah, you overdid it. But it'll grow through it, man. It'll be okay. It will be fine. I would not worry too much. And thank you for sharing, so other folks can learn that if you're gonna do that, if you're say you need like 0.35 and you had like 0.1 or 0.2, you probably get away with maybe rinsing the bottle out and using that. But if you're so close, you likely went a little heavier than you intended to. But it's okay. This too shall pass. All right. Jason D. Carney is in the live stream. He says, saw your post today about Zeon. What's your plan for keeping borders between your neighbor, buddy, and your backyard? I know you'll use Fusilier 2 for Bermuda and Zoysia, but what about Zoysia in Bermuda? So it's a good point. So keeping the Bermuda out of the Zoysia is going to be pretty easy. We'll use recognition and Fusilier for that. I'll tell you, while the Zoysia can creep into the Bermuda grass lawn, last year, from last year, the front lawn borders the neighbor, and we've probably had, let me see, so April, so May, June, July, August. So you've got 16 months since that sod has been put in, and it really hasn't moved at all into the Bermuda at all. The Bermudas try to come in, but it's just isn't. But the Zoysia, not for the most part, it just really hasn't moved into Bermuda. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be just fine. I mean, there's a couple other folks in the neighborhood that have Zoysia lawns that meet up with Bermuda lawns, and actually one that's right across from Alex. And for the most part, the Zoysia is, you can see where the Zoysia is and where the Bermuda is, and it's pretty much a pretty clear line, pretty much where they sodded it. So I'm sure over time, especially say if the Bermuda were thinner or you're in an area with shade, then yeah, you'd likely more have the issue of the Zoysia encroaching into the Bermuda. But I mean, from what I'm seeing, both in my lawn and then also a lawn that's right across the street from Alex, it just really hasn't really been a thing. So no, it's less of a concern than most people would want you to think. All right, so not too worried about it. Let's see here. He says, would like to do it the way you did it, but this is the most cost-effective way I can do it and be ready for next year. Oh, you said here, I pulled a run last week. I applied Roundup to my backyard. Bermuda next week will be Roundup and Fusilier, killing it off for my spring Zeon grass, putting down annual ryegrass for winter. Okay, gotcha. So that's interesting. So you get rid of the Bermuda grass. You're going to overseed with perennial ryegrass. You can have a green lawn during the winter, and then next spring you'll get rid of the perennial ryegrass and go Zoysia. And you're saying this is the most cost-effective way to be ready for next year. Okay, yeah. I mean, it gives the benefit of doing what you're doing is you also have a green lawn during the fall, right? Which is kind of cool. I can see how that is fairly appealing. So yeah. Cool, guys. So we got a Cash App. This is from Mr. Archie Amos. He says $50 for tonight's sponsor. You got it. Let me get you in here, Archie. So there you go. Archie Amos. Is Archie short for Archibald? I would imagine. I mean, I guess it would have to be right. Archibald Amos. All right, there you go, sir. Your name in lights for what it means to you. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate the Cash App. And if you have any questions throughout the show, let me know. We'll get it up here. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Justin King says, hello, everyone. What's going on? Going on, Justin? And then good evening. Robert Raines up next says, good evening. How's your yard? It's okay. How's the shooting? It's okay. How's business? How's everything? The yard is coming around. I'm actually getting time to work on it now, which is kind of nice, Robert. Because the house is finally back together, as you can tell. I'm in my studio, which is kind of cool. House shooting, it's going well. It's going well. Getting ready for some big matches, and that's coming along pretty nicely. I'm happy with where it is. How's business? Business is business. It's been a busy year. There's always challenges. Every year there's always inventory challenges with some product, and there's always something. So So business is probably how I would say. And how's everything? I guess okay. I mean, fair to Midland. I can't complain too much. I mean, it's been okay. I mean, the other than the house flooding twice. I mean, some family stuff that's happened that's not been awesome. But I'm on the right side of the dirt, so all things considered, not bad, right? Not bad. Can't complain too much. And if I did, no one would listen. I mean, people they would act like they cared, but they really wouldn't care. So I just keep it moving. All right. Overall, everything's going well. All right, Jose is up next. He says, I did get the wrong sand when I bought it from a landscaping supplier, but there is some breakthrough slowly coming from last week. Cool. Yeah. So I saw the sand that you got from them looks a little bit finer than I would like, Jose. But to your point, if the grass is growing through it, you'll be fine. You'll be good to go. And you have a question to follow up. Is there a certain time of year that you can stop applying fertilizer for your lawn, and when can you start applying again in the spring? Great question. So we actually answer this. If you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to resources, and go to lawn care schedule, and look at this. You'll see that the first fertilizer app, depending on where you are in the country, will be, if you're in Georgia, like March is when you can get your first app out, again, 12024. And then if you scroll all the way down, the last application is normally in October. Is what we recommend, is 12024. And now, granted, if you have a cool season lawn, you can go a little bit longer. You might be able to go, as long as you're not going to have frost. I mean, you may be able to go a bit later than October. But I mean, for most, again, people from Washington, I say this all the time, folks from Washington to Florida follow this schedule, and they get really good results. So I'd say once winter is on its way out, so in Georgia, that's around the March timeframe, and then when fall is really beginning to come in and the grass is beginning to slow down, which is around here is October, is when I would stop fertilizing. The reason why, and even for me, you can probably go a little bit longer in Georgia if you wanted to, but the reason why I recommend you stop in October is because if you, if you over fertilize or put too much nitrogen in the soil in the fall, a lot of folks will try and do that to try and keep their lawn green. By doing that, you can create conditions where spring dead spot can become an issue the following year. So in general, when it gets to the fall, we get past September, I really begin to wean the lawn off of nitrogen, and I'll get my fungicide apps out and just let the lawn kind of do what it's going to do. If it wants to stay green, it stays green. If it wants to go dormant, it goes dormant. Mainly because I really don't want to have a spring dead spot on my lawn. It's a real hassle. It's a huge eyesore, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it once you actually do notice it next year, other than wait it out. So I tell you, Jose, again, March, Aprilish start. Octoberish is when I would stop with granular inputs. As far as liquids, if you wanted to spray like low amounts of nitrogen, like by low I mean like less than 0.2 of a pound per thousand, like low inputs, you could probably get away with that look further into the fall, but I really wouldn't get out there and put a lot of granular, push a lot of granular fertilizer late in the fall if it were me. Primarily, again, mainly to just prevent diseases that you can create conditions for if you overuse, if you abuse nitrogen in the fall. Okay. All right. Next up is Pointland. He says, "Dog, did you replace your Bermuda with Zoysia?" Yeah, done it twice now. The first part of the front lawn, and now this side. I thought established Bermuda turf is impossible to eradicate even with herbicides, unless you know what you're doing. For the normal folk, yes, that would be true. But you know what? We are not normal here. We have tools, skills, knowledge, and yes, you can get rid of it. I mean, the thing is this, right? The better job you can do with killing off Bermuda, or at least like severely injuring it before you till it out and get it out, and then sodding, the better your life is going to be. But then even afterwards, like I fully expect Bermuda to try and, well, it's not going to, but it's going to try and show its ugly head in that area. Because I mean, think about it, it's been in that part of the lawn for 12 years, 11, 12 years, so a while now. So there's likely going to be some breakthrough, but there's a herbicide combination that we can use to get rid of the Bermuda grass in Zoysia, and Zoysia tolerates it really, really well. So it's pretty much just the same program, the same plan that I ran last year, and I did it like, the only difference between last year and now is I did it earlier in the season. So Bermuda is growing in full swing now. It's, again, we're likely to get a little bit of breakthrough, but I'll just hit it with some recognition and Fusilade. And I'm trying to think. When would I probably do that? We are in mid-August. I imagine by mid-September. So before it really begins to slow down, to go dormant, the Bermuda anyway, is when I would spray. Because what you're basically using this herbicide combination for is you're treating Bermuda like a weed. So you want to really apply the product or apply the combination whenever it's actively growing, right? So that's really going to be, the way. But yeah, you can absolutely get rid of Bermuda grass, or you can manage it anyway. But once a zoysia lawn gets established, like in my zoysia now, you don't really see, there's no Bermuda in it. I mean, it's in really good shape. It doesn't, because it gets so dense, it's really tough for Bermuda to get in. So you absolutely can. You can do it. You just have to have the right know-how, and it can be done. Can be done. All right, next up is Nino Sturkana. He says, Ron, can I top dress and overseed while keeping a height of cut of 0.90? Yes. How should I approach that? Currently, grass is a 0.90 height of cut, so just under an inch height of cut. Yeah, I mean, so that's going to be just fine, Nino. So what I would say is the top dressing part is going to be fine. The overseeding part also fine because you're just under an inch. If you can lightly thin the lawn out just a little bit, I mean, because looking at your pictures, it looks like it's pretty thick to me. Just so that the grass seed has, a bit of an advantage, that you just get decent germination. Now, if you don't care and you're just trying to use it just to kind of fill things out a bit, which I'm guessing based on what I'm seeing with the grass, what you're trying to do, you can just leave it as it is. Put your grass seed out and be good to go. A 0.90 height of cut is not going to be really tough when it comes to spreading the leveling material. And as far as the grass seed germinating, I would like it to be a little bit shorter, but I mean, you're probably going to get good growth even at just under an inch. So I would just leave it where it is if you like it. I really wouldn't make too many changes if it were me. All right, we have another cash app. This one is from Mr. Emmanuel. Thanks so much, Emmanuel Scott. $50. Thanks so much, sir. Appreciate it. So you and Archie will share the limelight. You guys both gave the same amount, so I gotta make it fair. Gotta make it fair, right? All right, so let's see. Archie Amos and how do I spell your name? I don't want to butcher it. Emmanuel Scott. Thanks so much, sir. See if it all fits on here. Cool. There you go. 2 show sponsors. Thank you so much. Appreciate all the love and support. All right, next up is the Triller from Manila. He says, hey, Ron, and happy Friday, everyone. Happy to see the old setup back. Yeah, you and me both, man. It's so much better doing live streaming here versus where I was before. Can't wait to see how the new and improved swill area turns out. Okay, so it can, can I show you guys? You can kind of, it's better. It's better, but it's still not as, I mean, it's probably going to be a 2 mower job to kind of cut that. I'll just be completely honest with you. Unless I mow it like the way I'm probably not going to mow it, which is like kind of like riding the half pipe, then be less bad. But I mean, then you're not going to have the nice stripes from the street. And let's face it, you got to have the stripes from the street, right? Got to have that. But I mean, if you look here, can I show that? So you see there on the right. Pretty good. Okay, so you see the right. It's not as much of a V as it was before, but it's still there. I mean, I'm not going to be able to get a Greensmaster in there, So I don't know, man. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get a GM between Alex's fence and that. I just don't think so. We'll see. When I cut it, we'll see. I'd really like to, because it would make the stripes look way nicer. But yeah, I'll see how it comes out. It is definitely less of like a notch than it was before. But we'll see once the sod really settles and see how it works out. You know what I mean? Before there was really like a V, like the Alex's lawn is here, and then it really came down towards it. Now it's a lot gentler. So who knows? Maybe I can kind of train it if I cut it with the Greensmaster between Alex and me. I mean, the only thing I'm worried about is you might get a little bit of scalping on the high side, like on my driveway side if I do that. So we'll see. We'll see. We shall see, but I'm sure it's gonna turn out nice. I'm very happy with it. The way it went down looks good. They rolled it in really good, and we got a bunch of rain today, which is also awesome. So, all things considered, you know, very happy with how the installation worked out. And again, big thanks to SuperSod. They hooked me up with the sod and the compost. And again, the last year, the project went really well. Like the way the sod went, when it was really high quality sod. I didn't really have any pieces that were dead or any challenges with it. And then also the material, like the compost, same thing. I mean, it really helped. That process of killing off the Bermuda grass, tilling it out, putting, grading everything, putting down that compost, and then putting the sod on top of it. It works well. It's a great formula. All right. Next up, we have Tazin It Up. He says, thoughts on PGR a year after overseeding, or should I hit it hard next summer and fall with it? If it's been a year, yeah, you can use growth regulator. I mean, I'll tell you that it tends to work better if you start earlier in the season. But yes, you can, if you want to use growth regulator this fall, you can. There's no issue with that. And then as far as hitting it hard, I don't know what you mean by that, but I mean, if it's, you really, 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 really want to stick to the rates when it comes to using plant growth regulator. You want to stick to the rates when you're using any product on your lawn, but PGR, especially if you don't do that, within a couple of days, you're going to have some discoloration. Like as Tom Havikamp was telling us earlier, he did a bit of an over application, and you're going to get a bit of yellowing if you do that. So just stick to the rates. Whenever you start using growth regulator, you're going to look at the amount of product you're using, given the area you're spraying, and you're going to say to yourself, there's no way that little bit of growth regulator could possibly work, but it will. So the only advice I'd tell you is don't hit anything hard, stick to the label rates, or you can take the label rates, cut them in half, and spray every couple of weeks. That also works well too. For some guidance on a growth regulator, if you go to the golf course lawn store, you go to shop and then knowledge base, there's an article or a blog post with links here on knowledge base, all about plant growth regulator, how it can make your lawn thicker and greener, covers what PGR is, what the benefits are, long short of it is. I should just get rid of all three of these and just say, it's awesome. You really want PGR in your life. Let's just say that. But folks want more of an explanation than that. There's some videos embedded in here, but talks about Primo, talks about NUEZ, the benefits of each, how to use them separately, and then also how to use them together. A video showing that. And to make things even easier, because I said, hey, you should apply it every couple of weeks. We supply rates for doing that, for spraying plant growth regulator for various different grass types on the 1st and the 15th every couple of weeks. And if you follow this, again, there's a lot of people that use this and get great results. So again, I really, really would try and encourage you to not overdo when it comes to growth regulator. Just again, the guidance is here. A lot of folks use it and they get really good results with it. But if not, and you're just going to spray once per month, whatever the label says for once a month applications, do that. Don't get heavy-handed, or you will cry. So here you go, Taz it up. There's a video. There's a link to to that blog post, and again, free, cost you nothing to check that out. If you have any questions, let us know. All right, Mars Bees is up in the live stream. What's going on, Mars? Says happy Friday, everyone. Hey, hopefully you're doing well. Thanks so much for coming to hang out. I appreciate it. All right, next up is D&D Lawn Care. Says I've been using the 22.3 every other week and the 12.024 every month, and my all summer, and my Zoysia filled yard is so lovely. I'm happy with the results. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. It's a really good combination. It's a great combo, man. Thank you for the feedback. Happy to hear your lawn is looking awesome. All right. Next up is Justin King. He says, I had myself finally talked into converting U3 Bermuda and springing Tahoma next season, but now the new Oklahoma State release of its new Bermuda Indara 81 coming available. Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, try it out, man. If there's some new hotness you want to go out and try. And here's the thing. One cool aspect of this, Justin, right, you should look at too, is you can also be the guy that's different. You know what I mean? Like everyone's got 419, and frankly, there's nothing wrong with 419. Like Robert, I would argue, like Robert Rainey are probably one of the nicest stands of Tiffany 419. I mean, probably in the country. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So it's not like 419 can't look incredible. Tahoma 31's like the new kid on the block, and it also looks quite nice. I'm sure Indara is going to look really, really nice. So you just want to be different. You know what I mean? So folks come by like, oh, what kind of grass is this? Well, it's Indara 81. They're like, what's that? You're like, oh, well, I'm glad you asked. And you'll be able to go into all the research that went into it and where it came from and how you're the only one in your whole subdivision or area where you live that has it. So, I mean, you can make any of them look nice. But if you just want to be, you want to be different. You want to be the different guy, than I'm guessing it's Assad. If you want to go with that, then yeah, go for it. I mean, I highly doubt you're going to be unhappy with it. You know what I mean? It's really comes down to how it's cared for, which you know how to do, more than which grass type you go with. You know what I mean? All right. Next up, you said it's supposed to be finer. Of course, they always say this. It's supposed to be a fine-bladed, darker green, and bred off Tahoma 31 stays green longer in drought. Well, then it sounds to me that's the responsible choice. Like at this point, you can't do Tahoma 31. Like we all demand that you get the more the updated version. So yeah, if it's darker, we like darker color grass, finer blade. We like that too. It's bred off of Tahoma 31, so it's got good pedigree. And in drought conditions, it stays greener longer. Sounds like a winner to me. If it costs more, here's the thing, Justin. If you look at the price of it and it costs more than Tahoma 31, you can't really can't be upset about that because all you have to do is look at all the different benefits you get there. You get a greener lawn, it stays green longer, it's a finer blade, like all that costs money. Like magic is not cheap. So if it costs a little bit more, it is what it is. So I'd say just make sure that you don't, when it comes to, in other words, you're comparing them on like performance. It is unfair to compare them on price if the performance is better than what you are comparing it against. You know what I'm saying? So if it's better, expect to pay more for it. All right. Next up is the turf report. He says, hey, Ron, I'm in Northeast Georgia. Can you go over your pre-emergent application and time frame? Sure. Yeah. So as far as when I apply growth regulator, so I don't think I'm unique in this, but I mean, I apply PGR, sorry, not growth, pre-emergent. You said pre-emergent, not growth regulator. When it comes to applying pre-emergent, I don't think I'm very unique in the process that I use, but I will share it with you. In the spring, I apply pre-emergent one time, closer to the higher end of the rate card, and I let that carry me all throughout spring and summer. So in the spring, I'll apply either prodiamine or dithiopyr. That is what I will use typically in mid-February. When I get my growth regulator out, I like to get it a little bit early. So I get that out, applied, and then I call it good until the fall. When it comes to fall PGR, which we're coming up on that now, late August, so a couple of weeks from now, I will spray my growth regulator. I keep saying growth regulator, my pre-emergent. And as far as my choice for that, it would be Spectacle Flow. Now, the Zoysia this fall is not going to get Spectacle because I mean it's going to be it's only be 2 weeks old. I'm not spraying Spectacle on brand new sod that's only 2 weeks old. So the Zoysia will likely not get anything until like December. And in that case, I probably will just use prodiamine just on the new area. The rest of the lawn will get Spectacle, but just on the new sod. It's not going to get anything later this month or early September. And it's going to get its first pre-emergent like 3-4 months from now, which would be like, November, December timeframe. But typically the way this would work is in the spring, again, February timeframe, it's going to be prodiamine or dithiopyr. And then in the fall for pre-emergent, it's going to be Spectacle Flow. You can do it a couple different ways. You can do a heavier application, or say heavier, but you can do a higher rate application one time in late August, early September. But here lately, what I've done, I find that works better, is I will take what I would normally apply, which is, again, it's not even really the high end of the rate card, but just it's on the higher end of, instead of applying 0.20 ounces, so 0.2 of an ounce per 1,000 one time, what I'll do is I'll apply 1/10 of an ounce per 1,000 in late August, early September, and then in November, December, I'll do the same thing again. So I've done it both ways. Both ways work well, but I just find that splitting it up, you tend to just get the coverage extends a little bit longer if you do that, and that's going to help keep Poa annua, your henbit, a lot of the cool season weeds that tend to grow during the fall and winter out until I get around to like February timeframe again, when I'm going to go out and apply again either dimension or barricade, either prodiamine or dithiopyr. So that's my schedule. And if you want to see it in detail, I mean, you have to remember it. You just go to the golf course lawn store, go to resources, and go to lawn care schedule, and then right here under monthly application schedule, you will see in February, spring pre-emergent application, prodiamine or dithiopyr, almost like I wrote this. And if you scroll further down, September, you'll see fall pre-emergent. And then for cool season for warm season grass, spectacle flow. For cool season grass, a couple rounds. Let me get here. A couple rounds of prodiamine. So for cool season grass, you can do an application again, assuming you're not overseeding, because there's always like it depends, right? But if you've got a cool season lawn, you're not going to overseed in the fall, then you can do an application of prodiamine again, late August, early September timeframe, and then again a few weeks before you expect your first frost. And if you have warm season turf grass, then really you should be using spectacle. The only negative to spectacle is that it's expensive, but it's expensive because it is worth it. So, so yeah, that's my pre-emergent schedule in a nutshell. Sorry that I said PGR instead of pre-emergent a couple of times, but you get it. But at any rate, if you want to see that schedule here, Turf Report, you can go here. It's available on the golf course lawn store. I'll just actually link for everybody. Lawn care schedule. All right, so you can check that out. Again, it's free. There's no cost to check to view that, and then you can use it as is. You can modify it as you want to. You'll probably get worse results if you do, but I mean, you can follow that, and there you go. So it's all right there for you to view at your leisure. All right. Cody Andress is up next. He says, I spot sprayed quintessential 7 days ago on my 2419, has some yellowing going on. Will it recover? Yes, it will recover. It will recover. If it's temperatures are a bit higher, like above 85 degrees, which it kind of is everywhere right now, getting a little bit of temporary yellowing is not unexpected. But yes, to answer your question, Bermuda grass will absolutely grow through that. No issues at all. Archie Amos is up next. Says, evening, young man. I've been away for a while, but I am back. Thanks for all the help on our application of a new EZ. Your lawn really bounced back. You are very welcome, sir. I mean, it's pretty difficult to do things. It's pretty hard to have an oopsie that's so bad that the lawn won't recover from it, especially if you're dealing with Bermuda grass. Like, for example, I sprayed a couple weeks ago the the glyphosate and fusilade combination to get rid of the Bermuda grass. If I had left that alone, next year you would see new growth in the lawn. I mean, it would still look really bad. It would not look as good as the rest of the lawn. But if I didn't get it all pulled out and then resod it with something else, like that would not have been enough to get rid of Bermuda grass forever. Like, eventually it would have come back. It just would look like terrible for all of probably the majority of next year. So say all that to say is if you go a little bit heavy-handed with your growth regulator, again, not good. I wouldn't make a practice out of it, but it's not like the lawn's not going to recover, given time. All right. Next up is Mac. He says, hey man, Zoysia install was crazy. Your Bermuda was nice. I wish this area of Hampton, VA had access to Supersod. Yeah. So Supersod supplied the material. The installer was the same company that I worked with last year. It's like DYG. If you look like DYG, maybe sod installation or DYG landscaping, they're a pretty small company, but they do really good work. And they're like one of the premier preferred installers by Supersod in this area. So in other words, if you go out and you buy a bunch of sod and you're like, hey, I got this sod, I need to get it installed, they're one of the people that they will recommend to do it. And they do great work. I mean, the guys came in, even from day to day, cleaned up, the driveway was all good to go. I mean, they did a really good job. So again, I would highly recommend it if you're in the Georgia area. I mean, I don't think they'll travel out of state, but I mean, they're really good at what they do. All right, next up is he says, hey man, thanks for the quick email response. I appreciate that. You are very welcome. So I get a lot of email, but I try my best to respond when and where I can. Sometimes people write me a book and I'm like, bruh, like give me the Cliff Notes. You got to shorten this up. I can't like you can't like give me, War and Peace. You got to shorten it up. Ask the question. All right. So next up is Lemon Shark 3. He says, "Hey Ron, love your channel. I have Bermuda and we've been constantly having temps over 100 degrees with minimal rain. I've sprayed Tried QC. Spot treatment at night and got yellowing. Any advice?" That's gonna be a thing. If it's gonna be 85 degrees or higher, which you are well above that, you are gonna get some temporary yellowing if you're spraying like a 2,4-D, a product with 2,4-D in it. It's just gonna be a thing. It will recover, but it's just gonna be a thing. If you want to minimize the chances of yellowing and still have excellent broadleaf control, I would even argue better broadleaf control than what a 3-way like a triad will do. Go with Celsius. It costs more, but it's worth it for that reason. Like you're much less likely to get yellowing with Celsius, and if you do, it's going to be milder than what you would get with like a 3-way like Triad. All right. Again, Triad's a great product, but it's just again the price difference is pretty noticeable between Celsius and that product, and there's a reason for it. So the long and short of it, if your question is did you do any permanent injury to your grass? Highly unlikely. Is it going to recover? Yes. But again, given the conditions that you did your application, not surprised that you had some a bit of yellowing. But again, it'll come back. All right. Yeah, and just give it time. It'll recover. All right. Next up is TV Versell. He says, "I live outside of Chicago, and with all the hot, humid weather, with tons of rain, I have some areas that look like fungus damage. I applied 2 rounds of bio-advanced fungicide, but not sure if it'll help. What now?" I'm not sure what the active ingredient in that is. I'm not sure what they're doing. I mean, if you applied active ingredient, what is it? What do they put in that? Okay, propiconazole. Yeah. So if what you applied or what you're dealing with, propiconazole will work, then good. If it's not, propiconazole covers a lot of diseases. Like dollar spot, it's really good for. If you're dealing with like large patch, brown patch, summer patch, then really what you want is something with azoxystrobin in it. Azoxystrobin or pyraclasstrobin. One of those two is what you want to go with. So a product like, so while that product's okay, going with like Headway G if you want granular. Actually, I'll show you really quickly here. If you go to shop and then fungicide, insecticide. So both of these products, one is liquid, one is granular. Kind of easy to tell there based on just the bottles, right? The packaging. But with Headway, you are getting azoxystrobin and propiconazole. So you're getting 2 active ingredients, 2 different fungicides that will attack diseases differently. So as far as coverage, you get better coverage using a product like Headway G that has 2 fungicides in the bag. Same thing for Pillar SC. It's tritaconazole and pyraclasstrobin, I think is what's in this. But they're both group 3 and 11, if my memory serves me, fungicides. So effectively, these two work very similarly. One is liquid, one is granular. You will get better control, better coverage as far over a broader range of lawn diseases using a dual mode of action product like one of these than a single just spraying just only propiconazole. So again, I would look into either Headway or Pillar SC. Either one of those should help out quite a bit. And it sounds like if you've done a couple rounds of that and it's not getting better, then perhaps whatever you have on your lawn, propiconazole isn't the best for. Maybe you need some azoxystrobin, which Headway has, or pyraclasstrobin, which Pillar SC has. All right. So if you want to read more about them, you can take a look at them here. I'll just call it fungicides, and you can just take a look at your heart's content. This is why I recommend both those products, primarily because you get broader coverage, right? All right, hope that helps, Steve Ursell. And you said, "I do your spoon feeding program and no granular fert since the end of June. This is Okazaki bluegrass with some rye. I got you. Okay. Yeah, so spoon feeding program, but if you follow our entire program, we would have you spraying fungicides in May and in June preventatively. So if you did that, I would say it's impossible, but very unlikely you'd be dealing with this now. And if you follow our program, you're going to be spraying either Pillar SC or Headway G. But again, I sent you the link there. You can take a look at them. That is what I would look into for me. It sounds like maybe propiconazole isn't getting it done for wherever you have in your lawn. So even if you don't want to get Headway or Pillar SC from us, you can. I mean, if you can get your hands on some azoxystrobin, you might be able to just try that and see if it helps. But I would just use a combination product personally and just call it good. All right, that's what I did on my lawn. My new Zoysia got Headway G today. All right. Andre Taylor's up next. He says, what's going on, Ron? Happy Friday. Love the transformation, but, okay, here we go. Now here's the thing. Anytime someone says, but, like everything was before the but is the less important part. The really important thing I'm about to say is going to come after the but. So here we go. He says, but please don't get rid of the Bermuda. I sent some pictures after scalping under 1/2 inch a couple weeks ago. So what you're saying is this a plea, a cry for help for the Bermuda grass? You want to make sure that the Zoysia is making its march on the golf course lawn, and you're saying that, hey, it's won the front lawn, it's won the swale area, but enough is enough, right? Is that what I'm hearing? Like, we don't need to take it back any further? I don't know, man. Zoysia's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. It is pretty sweet, you know. But we shall see. I'll tell you what, it will not, if there's any more Zoysia that goes in, it will not be this year. It won't be this year for sure. So there you go. So how about that? You sent some pictures, you said, after scalping 1/2 inch a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so my front lawn, I did a bit of a reset because, again, I haven't been able to mow like I wanted to, and took some of the color out of it. So I cut it at 5/8. And then now my mower is set to 0.7, so just under 3/4 of an inch, and that's where I'm going to run it for the rest of the season. So it should be good. So the color the next week or so should come back in pretty nicely. I'll share that with you guys. And Andre sent some pictures here, man. This looks good, man. He said recovered from scalping. It looks really good. Great work. Okay, so I got 3 out of the 4 pictures. I will share these with the folks, and overall, I dig it. All right, so picture 1, picture next. Where is this? There we go. So you got the mowers, like you're rolling with the Real Rollers Revolution. Great choice, great mower. I like it. And then that is not your lawn. That's your lawn. And then this is your lawn. A little close up. It looks good, man. It looks good. Yeah, it's coming back really nicely after the scalp. I dig it. That looks really good. Looks really good. And I guess this is the other side of the house. So what's cool about your property, Andre, even though it looks like you've got some shade in some spots, overall, the lawn looks like it gets enough sunlight. I mean, even right up to the house, the way the sun probably passes over your property, that area right up to the house is still looking pretty green. Because that's what I look at. Whenever someone sends me a picture of a lawn, particularly a Bermuda lawn, I look at whatever's growing closest to the house, and I can see, well, you know, how I get a pretty good idea of how the sun moves or how much light the area is getting. Because that area right near your home is going to be the toughest area for that grass to really do well. From what I'm seeing in the pictures, it looks really good. So nice, looks really good, man. Great work. I know you were a little bit worried when you cut it back, and it was, you know, color was not the best, but it has come back. It has come back. All right, next up is Lewis P86. He says, I'm considering renovating my back lawn with 419 plugs from my front yard. I seeded the back a few seasons ago, but there's clearly a visual difference. What's the timeline with 2,000 square feet? Thanks. It depends on how many plugs and how close how tightly they're packed together. I mean, you can, if you put plugs in, you know, 8 inches apart, which is a lot of plugs, you would that will grow in within a season pretty easily with Bermuda grass. And here's the thing that I would say though, Lewis. I mean, if 2,000 square feet, man, I mean, granted, it's if you factor in the amount of time it's going to take you to go and pull all those plugs from the front lawn and then go transfer all the plugs into the back lawn, unless you just really want to do it. I would just sod that, man. It's not going to be that much sod. Like 419 sod is not that expensive. Like if the reason why you're doing it is you want to make sure, if your reasoning is not to save money, but because you want to ensure the back lawn perfectly matches the front lawn, then the way you're doing it, yeah, is the way. Because it's basically going to be the same grass. It's just going to be a longer process. It's going to take more plugs than you probably are thinking, and the front lawn is going to look not that great after you're done pulling all these plugs out and moving them to the back lawn. So the only way I would do the route you're planning on going is if you're doing it because you just want to be 100% certain there's no chance that the front lawn and the back lawn will not match, in which case that's the way to do it. But if you're just if you're doing it from a standpoint of I don't know, maybe saving time or saving money, like one, you're definitely not saving time. And then, just 2,000 square feet of sod is not really going to be that much. It's not going to cost you that much, especially at 419. So just something to consider if depending on which of those is your reasoning behind going the plug route for the back lawn. All right. But yes, to answer your question, within a season, that should fill in pretty well. Again, assuming enough sunlight, rain, you feed it properly, you mow it. But yeah, Bermuda grass spreads like wildfire when conditions are right. All right. Let's see here. Emmanuel's turf. I'm not sure what he's asking. He says, "Hey Ron, soil amendments from the golf course lawn store granulars. Does the residual concept reciprocate?" Not sure what you are asking, so I don't know. Having Kemp says, "True words have never been spoken. We are not normal. RH 2026. Proud and not normal for sure." There you go. Yeah. I mean, normal. Plus, being normal is not great. I mean, who wants to be normal, right? Be known for something, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever, right? All right, Jason Harrison, he says, with the rain, how did the new grading go with adjusting the water floor? So it rained, but then it stopped. So it rained really hard. That rain you saw there was for like 15, maybe 20 minutes. So it wasn't enough to really cause the back lawn to really drain a bunch of water through it to see how it moved. I don't see, like the way they graded, I don't see that there should be any issues with water, like any water pooling or anything like that. The big thing I just really wanted, which is probably wishful thinking, was to get that area a bit flatter so that I could run the Greensmaster like right up to the fence. That's the thing I really wanted, mainly so I don't have to run like 2 mowers there. That's it. We'll see. We'll see how it ends up working out. Is how was the water flow? Yeah, so it wasn't enough water to really notice any kind of a flow, Jason. I mean, again, it was only like 15, 20 minutes of rain. All right, next up is Sydney Massey says, awesome info, Ron, and thanks. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. All right, next up is Seti. He says, Big Ron, it pains me to see King Bermuda to be replaced with that pretty grass. Turf's up or down. Stripe action forever. But here's the thing, it balances now. Now the front lawn, when you drive by, it's going to look the same. It's going to be like Zoysia on the front, let me think, from the street. Zoysia on the right side, Zoysia on the left side, and there you go. You'll always, hey, listen, the Bermuda lawn will live on forever. There's so much content online of the Bermuda grass that it's going to be around forever. Like my best content, the videos that have the most views on YouTube are of the Bermuda grass lawns. People will always see that. They'll always see it. It's always going to be around, no matter what. Don't let not your heart be troubled. Bermuda's going to be around forever. All right, let's see here. MFT Tyler says, "Howdy, Ron. Do you ever have issues with your Revolution scalping on the low side when you're mowing your front yard? I have steep front yard, and I have been getting scalp lines when I go downhill." Depends on the height of cut you're set to. I mean, in general, no. But it depends on your height of cut. If you're at half an inch, if you're below 5/8, and depending on the grade, and I haven't seen your lawn, yes, you can get some scalping when you are mowing with not just a Revolution, really any mower. What I would say is if you are mowing, I don't have my iPad here, but if you're mowing a slope, you don't want to mow up and down. That's definitely the worst way to go. So like if this is, I don't have this. We'll use this. So let's skip. This is our slope lawn. The worst way to mow a slope lawn, in my opinion, again, folks can feel free to disagree, but they're wrong. If you mow a slope lawn up and down, that's absolutely the worst way to do it. You're gonna have the worst cut that way. It's going to cut really high going uphill, and it's gonna cut low going downhill. It's gonna scalp. from a safety standpoint, you're much more likely to slip and fall and hurt yourself. So just don't mow, like going up and down is not the way. The next way you could do, which is not awesome, but is definitely way better than going straight up and straight down, is to mow lengthwise. What you're going to find if you do that is the low side of the mower is going, because the mower is, I mean, just because of gravity, the low side is going to cut a little bit shorter than the high side. So what you're going to end up with, and this, you really see this more as the height of cut gets shorter, is you're going to have like this terracing, like stepped effect if you mow lengthwise. The best way that kind of splits the difference is to mow diagonally. So if you mow like this, like diagonally up and down across the slope, so you're kind of cutting, like, you're not going up, you're not going across, but you're kind of doing diagonal. The way the mower tends to be a bit more even and the cut tends to be better. So for me on my lawn, I never mow up and down. I may occasionally mow lengthwise, but then I always finish up with a diagonal cut. So what I might tell you to do is, or to try anyway, is if you're mowing up and down, like don't do that. That's definitely not the way to do it. Lengthwise, bit better, but again, not great. The best way is just to go diagonally. And if you do that, you're going to find that the cut is going to be more even. I think you'll be happier with it. All right. So that's what I'd recommend as far as that goes, because the issue you're seeing is not one that is, it's not specific to the Revolution. Any real mower is going to do that if when you're mowing on a slope, if you're not careful. All right. So hope that helps, sir. If you need anything else, let me know, but try that diagonal mowing. Should really help out. Okay. Next up is Jose 62498. He says, hey, Ron, I am renovating my lawn. I'm installing Toma 31. My lawn is 10,000 square feet, and I've been looking for soil 3, but no luck here in Orlando. Any idea where I could find some? It's a good question. I don't know if they're in Florida, man. You may have to call them. Like, call Supersod's office and be like, hey, listen, man, I'm in Florida. Where can I get your stuff? They might, if they don't have a branch, they might be able to point you in the direction of someone that has something comparable to them in your area. But I don't know off the top of my head where you would go in Orlando to get that product. All right, so sorry, I'm not more help on that one. All right, Postage 545 is in the live stream. He says, hey, Ron, I've gone all summer without it, but when it comes August, I have spurge attacking my lawn. It's not everywhere, but it's in an isolated section. What should I use to get rid of it, and how can I prevent it for 27? So if you have warm season grass, Postage 545, I would use Celsius. I would use these two together. I'd take Celsius and I would use surfactant. This pairing will make quick work of the spurges in your lawn. If you have a cool season lawn, what I would use is Triad, like a 3-way. That, and again, also paired with surfactant. That's what I would use. As far as how to get rid of it or prevent it, by the time we get into August, your pre-emergent, if you're using like prodiamine or dithiopyr anyway, is largely going to be beginning to fall off. You might be one of these folks that, again, I don't do it, but you might be one of these people that will, in the springtime, maybe you'll do like a split application of your pre-emergent. So do one earlier and then do another in like late April. And that will get you a bit more coverage as far as it will likely help reduce some of the spurge issues or pressure you're gonna get from spurge in the July-August timeframe. That would be the only suggestion I can give you as far as how to reduce the amount of spurge you're gonna be dealing with. But again, if you have warm season turfgrass, Celsius and surfactant is the way to go. If you've got cool season turfgrass, like a 3-way like Triad and surfactant is what I would use. All right. Hope that helps. Sorry you're dealing with it. All right. Tazin Up says, any issues with applying seed and using PGR? No. Not if you're talking about like Primo or a new, like both of those work via foliar uptake. So meaning they have to get on the skin of the plant, the leaf of the plant to be absorbed, because grass seed has no leaf yet, right? It's not going to negatively affect like germination or anything like that. And if you actually look on the label for Primo, there's a section that actually speaks to this, where some people, when they are doing an overseeding project, they will use growth regulator like Primo Max on their lawn to actually slow down the existing lawn to give the new grass seed like a competitive advantage as far as germination goes. So to answer all that, to say, no, it's not going to negatively affect your grass seeding project. Again, I'm talking about Primo and a new. If you use some other growth regulators, Maybe, but I mean, for those two, the answer is no. All right. Next up is okay. So lemon shark. Okay. Next up is Juan Blog. He says, hey Ron, what nozzle and sizes do you recommend to apply fertilizer and pre-emergence and herbicides around sidewalks to avoid stain? As a broadcast on the lawn, do you use different nozzles to avoid drift? Not really. So as far as avoiding drift, I don't spray on windy days or when it's windy outside, and then just being very how can I say this, particular about when you begin spraying and when you stop spraying. So I mean, you really shouldn't have really any of the product getting more than an inch or two onto the driveway. So if you just your technique, you should be able to keep most of it, like the majority of it, in on the grass and not on hard surfaces. And as far as nozzles go, if I'm spraying any products that work via foliar uptake, so you're talking about liquid fertilizers, or the ones that we sell anyway, liquid fertilizers, herbicides, plant growth regulator, biostimulants. I think that's it that comes to mind. I use this guy, which is a spray nozzle from TJet. It's the I think it's the 1004 VS. I got a link to it. But this one, the fine droplet spray nozzle is what you want for foliar sprays, and then for soil products you need to get in the soil. So like your insecticides, fungicides, pre-emergence, you want a larger droplet, and that is what this produces, right? So the FlowJet tip, big notch, produces big droplets, helps the product get past the grass, past the canopy, into the soil where it needs to be. All right. So there's two different spray nozzles. There's a red one for, again, pretty much the white FlowJet nozzle is for pre-emergent fungicide, insecticide. The red one is for pretty much everything else. So the red one is the one that lives on my sprayer like the majority of the time. The FlowJet nozzle really only goes on really for pre-emergent and fungicide applications, if I'm assuming I'm not applying like headway. All right. And in case you, I think I've got links to that somewhere if I can find it. I have so many notes here. If I can find the foliar spray nozzle. There we go. Yep. Okay. So for the FlowJet nozzle, this is what you're going to want. And then for the foliar spray nozzle, the fine droplet spray nozzle, that's what you're going to want. All right. You can get them both on Amazonia. I think it's like between the two of them, maybe $15 for both. Not that expensive. Maybe 20. I'm not sure what they are now. All right. So hopefully that helps. All right. T. Vercel says, I just emailed you now how the front yard is looking. Okay, I got it here. Save as. Okay, so the front lawn, you said some challenges with it. Yeah, let me get this up here so folks can see. Yeah, I mean, I do see there's definitely some damage there. Like this one, you can see a bit of a ring that looks almost like some summer patch or large patch there. The rest of these, I'm not sure, but this one, you can make out the ring with the grass in the middle. That leads me to be that. So yeah, I would go with something with a Zoxystrobin in it, man. So again, headway is what I would personally use, or you can just get some Zoxystrobin and try that if you want. But yeah, that's my recommendation still stands, Tom. That I would like. Obviously, propiconazole is not getting it done, so switching products or just going to something with Zoxystrobin in it is where I would go. I would go next. All right, MF Tyler says, it's me again. Forgot to mention I do mow at a 45-degree angle on my steep front yard. I'm considering buying a 20-inch mower, but hoping there's a solution to scalping before I make another purchase. You can mow a bit taller, and then mowing diagonally it sounds like what you're doing, is going to be the next thing. But a 20, why would a 20, I guess, why is a 20-inch mower going to scalp less. And so in addition, I guess in addition to it being sloped, is it curved? And what you find is that the mower, like one part of the mower, like it's kind of like I'm not high centering, but it's like there's instead of it being flat, there's maybe a curve to it, like like a bullet concave, and that's causing some of the scalping problems. That could be it too. So maybe going to a narrow mower if you've got some really like instead of it being in addition to it being sloped, if it's got like a curve to it, a narrower mower will be less likely to cause cutting problems or have scalping issues than a wider one. So that, it could be going to a narrower one might be the way to go for your lawn. Again, without seeing the pictures, it's tough to say, but first thing I would do is just try raising the height of cut up just a little. It doesn't take much, man. Even if you go from 5/8 to like 0.7, 0.75, just not doesn't take a whole lot to make to fix a lot of mowing problems. So especially when it comes to a slope. So I would, if it were me, I would bump that height of cut just a little bit first. Try that before you go out and buy a mower. You know what I mean? All right. Next up is Jose. He says planning on moving into a new built house soon, but I want some advice on what to put down before applying to Homa 31. Yeah. So what you would do is this is what I would apply before. So as far as what I would do before or shortly or immediately after applying to Homa 31 is that I'd apply a granular biostimulant like carbonized PNG. I would apply a good quality starter fertilizer like our 14714. It's got nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium in it, a bit of kelp, bit of humic acid, bit of everything. It's a really complete fertilizer. And then, although a lot of folks don't do it, I am a huge fan of applying fungicide as a part of new lawn installations, primarily because you water a whole lot whenever you install a new lawn, right? You put new sod in, you water way more than you normally would, which not saying that that's going to cause disease problems, but it certainly creates conditions where disease can be an issue. So a fungicide app is inexpensive insurance to just kind of ensure that doesn't happen. So a granular biostimulant like carbonized PNG, great choice. A quality starter fertilizer like our 14714, and then a fungicide. That is what I would do. Heliocastle. You can do them. You can do it like after the grading is all done. You can put all that down before the sod goes in, or you can put the sod down, and literally right after it's done, you can put down right afterwards. That's what I did today. Literally, you can watch on my channel. If you go to the shorts section or the shorts feed from a few hours ago, you'll see a video of me doing exactly that. Like those three. Like this picture is like I don't know, like 3.5 hours. It's like 3.5 hours old. Like this picture's like 3.5 hours old. Because that literally just happened this afternoon. Okay? That is what I would do. He says, thanks for answering my questions. I hadn't seen your content in a while. Well, you're very, very welcome. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. All right. Let's see here. T-Bones Tech says, approximately how tall is your sod? I haven't measured it, really. And how do you plan on taking down the height of cut? Well, my mower's set to 0.70, so it's going to have to learn. It's going to have to fit in. That's what happened with the front lawn. If I just put down Tiff Tough after removing St. Augustine. Unfortunately, my real mower's max height of cut is 1.2 inches. Yeah, so I'm going to be cutting mine shorter than that. So in other words, I'll tell you a story. Last year, when I sodded the front lawn in April, 12 days afterwards, I began mowing it. And the height of cut on the mower, I want to say it was 3/4 of an inch, pretty much where it's set now. And the first cut, of course, obviously didn't look great because some of the sod is a bit higher, and sod's kind of uneven. You don't have they're not all like equal thickness off all the time, right? So the first cut, you're kind of like teaching it, hey, this is what life's about to be like. Fall in line. And then a week or so later, it starts to get better. So just make sure your equipment's sharp and begin cutting it as soon as you start seeing new growth. On my front lawn, which again was done in April, that was 12 days after it was put in. The sod that went in today, it's probably going to be like next weekend is the first time I'm going to cut it. And again, my mower is set to 0.70. That's what the rest of the lawn's getting cut at. So it's getting cut at that too. And I have no doubt that it's going to be just fine because again, it's way hotter now than it was last year whenever the sod was installed. So it's going to root in a lot faster. I mean, even the installer was telling me that today before he left. Yeah, dude, whatever you did last year, obviously you looked at the lawns. Obviously, it works really well. He's like, a year later, like most of our customers, like our customers' lawns do not look like this. So whatever you did obviously works. And just, yeah. And the only thing you're going to find is that this year, like this time of year, it's going to establish faster than what what you did last year did. So should not be a problem at all. All right. And then Justin says, also thinking about just keeping it a cheaper project and using your Palmia double dark seed. Either way, skipping fall and spring pre-emergent will decide by next spring. LOL. Yeah, that's a good point. So if you're going, that's a good point, Justin. If you're planning on going the seed route, do not use Spectacle in the fall. Like, don't use Spectacle. Well, if you can use Spectacle, do like one application and do it like in late August, early September. I would not do the 2 application method where you're doing another one in like late November, early December. I wouldn't do that if you're planning on doing a renovation and trying to grow your Bermuda lawn from grass seed. You just don't want to do anything that is going to potentially negatively affect, germination. I mean, you're spending a lot of time, money preparing it, buying the grass seed. You just don't want to be working against yourself. So that would be my recommendation if you're going to go the grass seed route. All right. Next up is Devin. He says, what's up, Ron? Looking forward to some good turf talk. Life's been busy lately, and I haven't forgotten about getting back to you live. Love watching your innovation content. I appreciate that, man. I actually liked your comment too, Devin. So it's funny. So whenever everybody's an expert. So I posted like the fertilizers that I was using and like how I'm like starting out with a new lawn. And someone will say, well, why are you using the 14714? Like you should be using the 12024. That's like your starter fertilizer. I'm like, no. I start the season with a 12024, but it's not a starter fertilizer. Like the 14714 is a much better choice as a fertilizer for a new seeding project or a new sodding project because it has some phosphorus in it. And then Devin chimed in. I saw his comment. He said, "Oh, actually, what he's using is the right thing, man." So I appreciate that. Thanks for backing me up. Appreciate it. All right, next up is Radvider. He says, "What would people get?" Verticutter from Summit Rentals. I am needing to get a lawn to thicken back up. I have Scots Pro Vista, Kentucky Bluegrass. So here's the thing. Yes, as far as actually getting a verticutter from them, they may or may not even have one. Some folks have used a slit seeder to do verticutting. You can do that. You just have to be really careful. As long as you have to set it up to where it's not, to where it's just kind of tickling the ground. You want to set it up where it's really high, to where it's not really like carving channels into the dirt. That's way too aggressive. And if you decide to use like a slit seeder for verticutting, the negative to that is that you're going to have to go back afterwards and then rake all that material up. Whereas like a good verticutter, quality verticutter, you're going to have like a basket to catch a lot of the material, which a slit seeder is not going to have. So they don't actually have a verticutter, which I kind of doubt they're going to have. It's kind of a specialty piece of equipment. They will probably have a slit seeder, which you can use to do this. You just have to set it up again hot. Again, you don't want the slit seeder to be slit seeding. Is what I'm trying to say. You don't want it cutting. You don't want it getting anywhere near the dirt. You want to set it up to where it's a few millimeters above the surface. That way you're going to be able to gently thin out the turf without being too aggressive. And then, like I said earlier, once you're done, you have to go back afterwards and rake all the all the material that you pulled out of the lawn, because there's not typically a basket on slit seeders. Okay. All right. Marcus and Morgan says, do you have any recommendations on where in Atlanta I can take my real mower for service or maintenance? It depends. It depends on which mower you have. And long answer is no. I haven't, not really. It's not really anyone that I would really recommend at this point. I mean, if you have a Toro, if you have a Greensmaster, I would tell you to go take it to Jerry Pate. I mean, you're going to pay a bit more for it, but they're going to be using all genuine Toro parts. It's going to cost a bit more, but they're going to go through the mower, and it's going to be like, perfect when you get it back. So you have a Toro Greensmaster. That's what I would tell you to get. I'd tell you to take it. But outside of that, if you have a Revolution, I imagine you can take it to Real Rollers, and they will take a look at it. They'll service it, or they'll recommend someone. If they're not doing the service themselves, they will recommend someone. They have like an authorized service person, I'm sure, in the Atlanta area that can work on their mowers. So that's what I would tell you. So it depends on the mower you have. is what I would say. Okay, an easy one is if you got a Greensmaster Jerry Pate company. If you have anything else other than that, it depends. I can't really, not going to be too helpful on that one. All right. All right. Next up, we have Mac. He says, as season changes during the year, should we raise the height of cut for Bermuda until dormancy? It's up to you. If you're able to keep up with the mowing, no. So in other words, if you are able to keep to increase your mowing frequency as we get into the summer, like now, then you can maintain the same height of cut. If you're not able to or don't want to, then yes, raising the height of cut is a way to just reduce how often you got to mow it. So what I'm saying is, if you say you're mowing your lawn at, say 5/8, right? So 0.625 inches in like springtime. So like April, May, you're mowing at that height of cut. In April and May, Bermuda is growing, but it's not growing like it's growing in like June, July, and August. It's growing a lot faster during that time of the year. If you want to maintain the height of cut of 0.625 inches, whereas in like April and May, you're able to mow, twice a week, and that would be fine. That mowing frequency would satisfy the growth rate of the grass that time of year. When you get into June, July, August, when it's hotter, that's going to have to go to like every other day if you want to maintain that same height of cut and keep the lawn green between mowings. Or you can just raise the height of cut, and then you can mow, not necessarily every other day, but say 2-3 times a week, the same mowing schedule you were doing earlier in the season, and you'll still be good to go. So do you have to? No. Do most people? Yes, because they don't want to mow more during the summertime. So it's not really a requirement. It really depends on you, like how much time and desire do you have to mow your grass when it's hot out during the summertime. You know what I mean? But I mean, I have gone. There's a season where I cut my lawn I set my mower to like just under 1/2 inch, and I ran that all season long. And I won't do that again because like during this time of year, like it was, forget like mowing every other day. It was like mowing every like 36 hours to keep it looking really good, right? And then 3/4 inch, I find that every other day, every 2 days tends to work pretty well with that height of cut. So you don't have to raise it, you just have to mow more. All right. Let's see. We have pecan smokes. I have dog urine spots where I remove dead Zeon Zoysia and place sand compost mix on those areas, and it's taking a long time to fill in. Despite regular feeding, is that normal? Been months. Yes, Zoysia takes a long time to grow. Like I literally had an area that I top dressed last year, and it was a little bit heavy, like where the sod kind of pulled away just a little bit, and the top dress was a little bit heavier there, and it took like pretty much all season for the grass to grow through it. So the beautiful thing about Zoysia is that it grows slow. The bad thing about Zoysia is it grows slow. So yes, not abnormal for what you're experiencing. And you said seasonal, I mean spring and summer and fall. No, so again, when it comes to how to cut, Julian, you can it's up to you. You can start lower in the springtime and then raise it up in the summer and just keep that throughout the rest of the year, or you can mow the exact same height of cut all season long. Just realize that the mowing requirements, the frequency of time you have to be out there mowing it is going to increase when it gets hotter. If you have a Bermuda lawn, you have to mow it more frequently during the summertime. And if you don't want to do that, raise the height of cut. All right. Next up is Pecan Smoke says, once you go Zoysia, you don't go back. Yeah, I mean, Zoysia's cool, man. I got to tell you, it's the best thing about Zoysia is it stripes really, really well. It's like a warm season grass that, from a stripe standpoint, behaves very much like a cool season lawn, like how ryegrass stripes. I mean, not quite as nice as that, but I mean, approaching how like ryegrass stripes. It's really, really nice, and just it grows. The growth rate is also pretty nice, right? It doesn't grow too quickly, but just it's the negatives of Zoysia is that if you are using your lawn a lot or you have damage due to insects, animals, or whatever, it just takes a lot longer to recover. But I mean, from a standpoint of like a grass just to look at, it's just beautiful to look at. I get it. I completely understand why people like it so much. All right, let's you see here on. Since we are live and thriving, how much does Celebrate in August to prevent grubs? Well, really, while the Celebrate in August, grubs are one of the things that helps prevent, but really we're also doing that for like your armyworms and other turf caterpillars. And then as far as how much, if you're doing the liquid, which I have a bottle of, grab it here. I don't. Nope, that's Primo. Oh, it's not that, dude. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So the rate I would do is 0.2. So on here you got a measuring cup, right? 0.20 ounces is what per thousand is what I would do now. So you would do that in the spring and also now. So 0.20 ounces in a gallon of water over 1,000 square feet. That's the rate that I would recommend for each application. The first one being late March, early April, and the second one being like now. And yes, that's the rate that I would go with, Tom. Okay. All right. Gary Kelly Jr. says, "Happy Friday, Ron. I'm thinking way ahead, but what is the best fertilizer for my last treatment of the year on a cool season lawn outside of Chicago?" What I would use is this. I would use our 12024. So if you go to the golf course lawn store, Gary, go to shop and go to lawn fertilizer. This is what I would roll with. That's what I would use to end the season. Okay? That would be my choice. And I'll link it here in the chat for you so you don't have to like write down really quickly and remember it. But this is what I would go with for your last feeding of the year. All right, here we go. What is Zeon Zoysia and why is it better than Bermuda? Zeon Zoysia is a type or a cultivar of zoysia grass. And why is it better than Bermuda? It's not better, it's different. Bermuda has, depending on the use case, Bermuda is superior in some ways. Like for a lawn you're going to use, like if you have kids, they're going to be on it and you're going to be playing on it and doing stuff on it. Bermuda just recovers from injury a lot better than zoysia does. It fills in from damage faster than zoysia does. It can stripe really nice. The color can be very nice. The benefits of zoysia are the color, like the hue of green with zoysia, tends to be more like an emerald. It's a really, really nice green. The way it stripes, it tends to hold stripes, I find, better than Bermuda does. What else about zoysia that's kind of cool? It comes out of dormancy sooner. It goes dormant later. So there's that. Yeah, I mean, it's not better, it's different. Depends on the use case. You know what I mean? The thing with zoysia though, you got to be really careful. Don't over fertilize it. I mean, it's if you get any kind of disease damage in it, it's more prone to disease than Bermuda is. If you have damage from disease, it's going to take longer to recover than Bermuda does. So it's not really a better. It's a different. Big thing. Shade. So zoysia typically does better with less sunlight than Bermuda does. So if you have say you're in the South, you have some trees or the way the sun passes over your house causes less direct sunlight than what's required for Bermuda to do well, which is like all the sunlight, then zoysia could be a viable option. So that's one advantage. I'd say that's not really subjective, that zoysia is objectively better than Bermuda when it comes to less sunlight. Everything else I've mentioned is really just more of a preference thing. Like some people like the way Bermuda looks. Zoysia, if it's not mowed, because the thing is, most people that have zoysia lawns, they mow them they don't get way too tall, in my opinion. Zoysia looks really good if you cut it the way you cut Bermuda. Like Bermuda does really well when it's cut under an inch. Zoysia also looks its best, in my opinion, when it's cut under an inch. If you keep it short, it's a thing of beauty. If you let it get to like 2-3 inches, like a lot of folks like to do, then it looks like a fluffy carpet, and just I don't particularly like the way that looks. So yeah, I mean, better is really subjective. It depends on what you're trying to do and what your goals are. I mean, I like Zeon mainly because I've had Bermuda for like over 10 years, man. So something new. It's like the new toy. It's really what it is, right? Something new. I've been staring at Bermuda for a long time. I've done a lot with Bermuda grass, so it's just something new to play with. That's all it is. And I really like the way it stripes. Really, 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 really do like the way it stripes, which is kind of cool. All right, Poach Sam says, "I'm cool season, thanks. You're very welcome." So in your case, the 3-way and surfactant. All right. Let's see here. Rather be golfing says, "Any disadvantage to spraying PGR when the grass is still wet from dew, like spray in the morning before it gets too hot out, but usually wet from dew?" Not really. I mean, I have done 95% of my plant growth regulator applications in the morning when there is still dew on the lawn. I rarely spray when the lawn is completely dry. It's typically early in the morning. So no issues really. And one argument you could make for spraying earlier in the morning is that whenever you're walking, you're going to see like your boot prints as you're walking. So as far as getting your lines straighter, it's kind of easier to do when there's dew on the lawn. So there's that. But no negatives. Tom says, here, big support for using PGR when seeding. It's a big help, keeps existing grass shorter, and allows more sun to the new grass. I swear by it as a practice. So there you go. You got someone else who says, hey man, whenever I am doing any kind of seeding work, PGR is part of the program. I get it. Let's see here. Any contradictions to apply plant growth regulator on new sod that is 1 to 2 months old? And also, best practices to level a super bumpy lawn. How often to apply sand? Should I avoid PGR to sand more often? You need to get on our blog, man. You can do 1 of 2 things, like join the academy or get on our blog. We got like literally all these questions you're asking. They're all right here. They're all right here. You got a lot of questions, which is good. But like how to level a bumpy lawn? Here. Like how to use a growth regulator? Here. It's all, maybe even our knowledge base. Like all those questions are all answered all in here. All in here. I mean, to apply it on a sod that's 1 to 2 months old, I'd say this: if you're applying growth regulator, if say you sod your lawn in, like I did last year, like in April, right? Is there any negative to using plant growth regulator on it in like the end of May, early June? No, there's not. There's no negative to do that. When it comes to leveling a bumpy lawn, I am a huge fan of like 1 cubic yard of material per 1,000 square feet. That's going to work out to about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of material. Reason why it's a good idea is you're not going to put so much stuff down that if you have rain, like heavy rainfall, that it's going to get moved around and washed out and create a huge mess. And then also, as far as recovery, the lawn's going to recover faster if you limit the amount of product the amount of material you put down to 1 cubic yard per 1,000 square feet. And again, like everything I'm talking about is either in videos on YouTube, but also on our blog and our knowledge base. Like all this stuff is all here. Like especially under here. I think the other day I looked at it. There's almost 200 articles on here on various topics. All right. Where is lawn maintenance? I think the bumpy lawn was right. Yeah, top dressing. Yep, how to top dress your lawn. That's right. There's one right there. There's a second one on. I know there's one we have on just how to level a bumpy lawn. Because I know we've been sending out email about it. But yeah, there's tons of content here that will answer pretty much every question you're gonna have about how to install sod. You guys already know that, but all of that is here and it is free for you to look at. All right, there you go. How to level a bumpy lawn like a pro. 7 simple steps. I'll link this here in the chat for you, so you'll have it. You have to go find it yourself. All right, but they're all right here. What material to use, how to use it, how much to use, when to do it, the process, what products to help support top dressing, when to water, how to water, reasons why you should do it, all that jazz. All right, so it's all covered right here. How to level a bumpy lawn. All right, so hopefully that helps, sir. All right, next up is Matthew Whitson. He says, hey, Ron, hope all is well. I was wondering what kind of fungicides you recommend, and do you recommend in September when doing fall pre-emergent? Thanks. Great question, Matthew. Matt, whenever I'm doing for fungicides, what I recommend are either, it comes down to your preference when it comes to like how it's applied. So if you prefer liquids, then I would say Pillar SC. If you prefer granular products, then I would do Headway G. Both are great products. They're both have dual modes of action. Both produce a great result. So it really comes down to preference. If you have an active disease problem in your lawn, I would bias towards the liquid. It's going to work a little bit faster than the granular. But for preventative purposes, either one will work well. As far as scheduling is when to apply fungicide, if you look at the pinned comment, assuming you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see that we will recommend fungicide apps preventatively in the first one being in May and the second one being in June. And then you're pretty much done with fungicide until we get into later in the year, which we do our app in October, and then the last one in November. And this is largely to prevent issues with spring dead spot and snow mold in lawns, right? So this schedule here, you can literally follow this and you'd be good to go. There's links to the products and everything there. And again, just in case you don't have it, it's linked. It's the pinned comment in the chat on YouTube. So if you just check that out, you'll be good to go. You'll be good to go. Let's see here. I see on your desk spreader sticker. Any specific uses for it? And would you use methylated seed oil in your herbicides? Yeah. So I use spreader. I recommend spreader sticker for pretty much everything. The case where you can make for a methylated seed oil if you're trying to target weeds that tend to have more of a waxy layer, something like some people like to use MSOs whenever they are mixing, whenever they're targeting crabgrass. So if you're spraying, say, a quinchlorite product like Drive or Quintessential, and you're going after crabgrass, or torpedo grass, then an MSO can help it perform a little bit better. The reason why we don't even carry an MSO is that as far as mixing it, you have to be much more particular, I guess, as far as how much you use, and you are more likely to have discoloration in the surrounding grass with it. So for that reason, I just, majority of folks that use our products or herbicides, outside of like Velocity, just use a non-ionic surfactant with it, and they get great results. So that's what we carry, what we sell, that's what we recommend. It's what's in our kits. Again, there are use cases for MSOs where they will help herbicides perform better. But again, if you're asking this question, use a spreader sticker. If you're going to use an MSO, you are likely people that really, in my opinion, anyway, that should be using methylated seed oils instead of surfactants, already know why they want to use that based on the herbicide they're using and the weed they're targeting. So the majority of folks, right here's where you want to be. A nice non-ionic surfactant, much more. There's more fudge factor. If you pour a little bit heavier, you're much less likely to have a lot of adverse effects than with an MSO. But again, the two weeds the big weed that comes to mind where you'll see some folks will use an MSO is if you're targeting crabgrass, and I still think you get pretty good control of crabgrass with a non-ionic surfactant